Assalamu alaikum. This is Noha. Welcome to episode 5. We will learn how to pray. Now let's start. Now after ablution or al-wudu, we will pray Salat al-Asr 4 rakat. Males should wear clothes covering from their waist to under their knees. Females should wear hijab that covers their head and their whole body except, if they like, their faces, hands and feet. Like this. During prayer, you are allowed to read the Holy Quran from the Holy Quran book or Al-Mushaf al-Sharif. We should face the Qibla and start our prayer or al-Salah. Stand straight with a small distance between your feet and your hands over each other, resting on your waist. Like this. This is a good distance between your feet, and this is how your hands should look like. Start your prayer by saying اللهم نويت أصلي صلاة العصر 4 ركعات لله فرضا. Again slowly. اللهم نويت أصلي صلاة العصر 4 ركعات لله فرضا. Then raise your hands open behind your ears and say Allahu Akbar. Now you have started your prayer. Read Al-Fatiha followed by a small surah or a small part from a long surah. Now raise your hands again open behind your ears and say Allahu Akbar. Like this. Then bend like this and put your hands on your knees and say Subhana Rabbiyal Azim 3 times. Subhana Rabbiyal Azim. Subhana Rabbiyal Azim. Subhana Rabbiyal Azim. Now stand again and say Sami'a Allahu liman hamida. Sami'a Allahu liman hamida. Then raise your hands again like this, open behind your ears and say Allahu Akbar. Then kneel on the ground like this and rest your forehead on the floor saying Subhana Rabbiyal A'la 3 times. Subhana Rabbiyal A'la. Subhana Rabbiyal A'la. Subhana Rabbiyal A'la. Now get your chest up while continuing kneeling on the ground. Sit for a few seconds and put again your forehead down on the floor and say Subhana Rabbiyal A'la 3 times. Subhana Rabbiyal A'la. Subhana Rabbiyal A'la. Subhana Rabbiyal A'la. Now stand up again and read Al-Fatiha and a small surah or a small part from a long surah, like this. Then raise your hands opened again behind your ears and say Allahu Akbar. Now bend again and put your hands on your knees like this and say Subhana Rabbiyal Azim 3 times. Subhana Rabbiyal Azim. Subhana Rabbiyal Azim. Subhana Rabbiyal Azim. Now stand straight and say Sami'a Allahu liman hamida. Sami'a Allahu liman hamida. Then put your hands open behind your ears and say Allahu Akbar. And kneel down on the ground like this and rest your forehead on the floor saying Subhana Rabbiyal A'la 3 times. Subhana Rabbiyal A'la. Subhana Rabbiyal A'la. Subhana Rabbiyal A'la. Then get your chest up while continuing kneeling on the ground. Sit for a few seconds and again put your forehead down on the floor and say Subhana Rabbiyal A'la 3 times. Subhana Rabbiyal A'la. Subhana Rabbiyal A'la. Subhana Rabbiyal A'la. Now get your chest up while kneeling on the ground like this and read only half of Al-Tashahhud, just part 1. Now stand up again and read only Al-Fatiha. Now raise your hands open again behind your ears and say Allahu Akbar. Then bend and put your hands on your knees like this and say Subhana Rabbiyal Azim 3 times. Subhana Rabbiyal Azim. Subhana Rabbiyal Azim. Subhana Rabbiyal Azim. Now stand straight, say Sami'a Allahu liman hamida. Sami'a Allahu liman hamida. Then put your hands open behind your ears and say Allahu Akbar. Now kneel again on the ground and rest your forehead on the floor saying Subhana Rabbiyal A'la 3 times. Subhana Rabbiyal A'la. Subhana Rabbiyal A'la. Subhana Rabbiyal A'la. Now get your chest up while continuing kneeling on the ground. Sit for a few seconds and put your forehead again down on the floor and say Subhana Rabbiyal A'la 3 times. Subhana Rabbiyal A'la. Subhana Rabbiyal A'la. Subhana Rabbiyal A'la. Now stand up again and read only Al-Fatiha. Then raise your hands like this, open behind your ears, and say Allahu Akbar. Now bend and put your hands on your knees like this and say Subhana Rabbiyal Azim 3 times. Subhana Rabbiyal Azim, Subhana Rabbiyal Azim, Subhana Rabbiyal Azim. Now stand straight again and say Sami'a Allahu liman hamida. Sami'a Allahu liman hamida. Then put your hands opened again behind your ears and say Allahu Akbar. Now kneel down on the ground and rest your forehead on the floor saying Subhana Rabbiyal A'la 3 times. Subhana Rabbiyal A'la, Subhana Rabbiyal A'la, Subhana Rabbiyal A'la. Now get your chest up while continuing kneeling on the ground. Sit for few seconds and put your forehead down again on the floor and say Subhana Rabbiyal A'la 3 times. Subhana Rabbiyal A'la, Subhana Rabbiyal A'la, Subhana Rabbiyal A'la. Now get your chest up while kneeling on the ground and read Al-Tashahhud. All of it. Part 1 and Part 2. Now move your head to the right and say Al-Salamu alaykum wa rahmatullah. Al-Salamu alaykum wa rahmatullah. Then move your head to the left and say Al-Salamu alaykum wa rahmatullah. Al-Salamu alaykum wa rahmatullah. Now you have finished your prayer. May Allah accepts from us all. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the lesson.